I don't want to say that it's completely uncommon in the video game industry for consoles to have disastrous starts, but Nintendo Switch 2 is really climbing its way up there in an absolutely unexpected way. It's been about 1 week, and I think it's safe to say that Switch 2 went from being a lot of people's silver lining for 2025 to being just kind of depressing. The sad thing is, though, unlike other times a video game system launched and maybe it just didn't have any games, or insert any of the big three console manufacturers here shooting themselves in the foot, the Switch 2 is actually incredibly impressive, which just adds to the depression. Nintendo is passing the baton to a new generation. During the Switch 1 lifespan, new leadership came into place, and in the last few years, that shift has been felt. Nintendo is making movies, theme parks. Nintendo's got games on their phone, and many of their big game series have either had major revolutionary or evolutionary steps forward. While services like NSO aren't perfect, Nintendo's connection to their past is really strong as well, making their past, present, and future feel like one strong connected thread, bolstering them into a Disney-like essence, which I think has always probably been Miyamoto's goal in the first place. Switch 2 really is the amalgamation on a hardware and software level of Nintendo delivering such a full and complete package that even during the height of the Wii era, that system never really had such a well-rounded lineup for every gamer. And it's a far cry for something like the Wii U. Switch 2 is expensive, and that's the bottom line. And it might get more expensive. I've been watching the online discourse over the last week, and while it's encouraging to see so many people be vocal about the issue, if only gamers would be vocal about issues outside of gaming, I've seen this too many times before to really think it'll get a price drop, but never say never. What's absolutely insane about the Switch 2 are the world events that have just comically, in such a cosmic way, coincided with it.
You think this is funny?
In a cosmic sort of way, yes.
You could look at PS5 and Xbox Series X/S and how they launched during the pandemic, but aside from supply chain issues, the pandemic was a great time to be selling video games. There are so many tech news sites that are using the Switch 2 as their particular fixation as to how, not just everyday items will inflate in price due to the tariffs, but luxury/entertainment items such as the Switch 2 as well. It's a PR nightmare. Nintendo has a lot to blame on themselves, and this whole week I've been wondering if the price is a result of the tariffs they were expecting, or are they following a trend like Sony and Microsoft, just slowly inflating the prices of their systems over time. It's not a good time to be any seller in the gaming industry, but Nintendo somehow really nailed the spotlight. I want to give a quick shout out to this YouTube channel called Kit and Krista. If you remember back in the Wii days, I think it was called the Nintendo channel, they were on there, promoting Nintendo products. They used to work for Nintendo, and they have a great video giving some insight as to what's probably going on inside the company. I really recommend you check it out. If you're a lifelong Nintendo fan, it's probably something that will pique your interest. In an interview with CNBC that was filmed on April 2nd, Doug Bowser was asked about the pricing of the Switch 2 and if it had anything to do with what was at that point still the anticipated tariffs. So keep that in mind. This is what he said, quote, "If we didn't consider tariffs into that equation, we felt that was going to be the right price point for our consumers and the right value proposition for the device we are creating." Now I'm very 50-50 on this statement, because this guy's job is to make us believe the Switch 2 is worth $450.
$101 for a Krabby Patty?
With cheese, Mr. Squidward, with cheese.
If he were to say something like, yeah, this is the price we calculated with tariff considerations, then it's almost an admission of him saying he doesn't believe it's worth that price, and that kind of then leads to the idea that we as a consumer shouldn't be spending that much either. However, and I am not an economist, I'm not anything of the sort, when you look at the price of the Switch 2, and the price a lot of people thought it was going to be a la $400, it really does look to me like the price of the tariffs was taken into consideration. It just looks like enough of a buffer as to what they thought it was going to be previously. I'm really hoping there is some miraculous turnaround for the system, not only for the sake of Switch 2 being more accessible, but that would also probably be a sign that other major world events are turning around. And really, it's actually just because GameCube games are finally portable, and of course all this crazy shit happens when we finally have the scientific advancements. But Danny, the GameCube has always been portable. Comments are below. Let off that steam that you got building up over the Switch 2. And hey, if you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like. I would love a subscribe. Y'all take care of yourselves out there, and I'll see you next time.